the March Madness. All this time should've looked tragic. Don't know where to live in lavish, like I'm playing for the Mavericks.
Imagine opening your front door on a quiet Sunday morning, dressed for church, thinking about the day ahead, and instead of sunlight and fresh air, you see your daughter lying lifeless at your feet. That's how a Detroit mother's day began, not with prayer, not with peace, but with a moment no parent should ever live through. Before the city started asking questions, before social media filled with theories, there was just a mother on her porch, staring at a nightmare that didn't feel real. Someone brought her child back home, but not the way she left. Someone knew exactly where to go, exactly who would find her, and still chose silence. This is a true crime shadow. And here we don't let families carry grief alone or let stories disappear when the headlines fade. If you believe every mother deserves answers and every child deserves justice, subscribe right now and turn on notifications, because we follow cases until the truth steps into the light. Before she became a headline, before her name turned into a question mark, Erica Ridgell was simply her mother's baby. The girl who grew up in that same house, walking through that same front door, filling those rooms with noise, laughter, and life. She wasn't a stranger to that porch. That was home. She was 31 years old, a woman balancing real responsibilities, working in the medical field, trying to build stability in a world that doesn't make it easy. But above every title she had, one stood higher than the rest. She was a mother of 3, and anyone who knew her will tell you those kids were her entire world. Her social media wasn't filled with luxury or drama. It was filled with her children, their milestones, their smiles, the little everyday moments parents hold on to. She talked about doing better, being better, creating a future that looked different from the struggles behind her. At the start of the year 2025, she wrote about growth, focus, faith, and making life brighter for her kids. That wasn't someone planning to disappear. That was someone pushing forward, trying to win for her family. She loved to laugh, loved to go out once in a while, loved feeling alive. But she always came back to being mom first. And that's what makes this harder to swallow. Because while the internet debates theories and strangers argue over what might have happened, a mother is left remembering the little things. The sound of her daughter's voice, the way she moved through the house, the way she checked on her kids. A whole lifetime of memories, now ending at a front door no parent should associate with loss. But the night before that morning, she was still here, still smiling, still living her life. And what she did just hours before everything went dark would become one of the biggest clues in this entire mystery. Saturday night looked ordinary. The kind of night no one would ever expect to be the last. She got dressed, stepped out, and did something millions of people do without thinking twice. She grabbed food and posted it online. A simple meal, a casual caption, a little moment of normal life before drinks. Nothing about it looked like danger. Nothing about it hinted that by sunrise, everything would be different. That post would become the final timestamp of her being alive. The last digital trace of a woman who had no idea she was hours away from tragedy. Now that is where the timeline starts a blur. After that meal, she didn't just vanish into thin air. She was with someone. Reports suggest she wasn't alone, that she had company that night, possibly a man. But who? That is where the silence begins. No clear name, no confirmed face. Just a shadow figure tied to the last hours of her life. Did they leave together? Was she driving, or was she in the passenger seat? Did they go somewhere public, or somewhere private where no cameras could help? Those missing hours between dinner and dawn are now the most important stretch of time in this entire case. Because somewhere in that gap, something went terribly wrong. And the person who knows exactly what happened hasn't stepped forward. But the mystery of who she was with isn't the only thing raising eyebrows. The conversations surrounding her relationships were already more complicated than they seemed. And that's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Now the story splits, and depending on who you listen to, you'll hear 2 completely different explanations. both disturbing in their own way. The first possibility is the one that makes people's stomachs drop. Some believe this wasn't an accident at all. Rumors suggest she may have been with someone she trusted, possibly someone she was romantically involved with, and that something turned violent behind closed doors. Arguments happen fast. Emotions flare, and sometimes in a single moment, a life is taken and there's no undoing it. People who lean toward this theory point to one chilling detail: her body being returned to her family home. That doesn't feel random. That feels personal. It feels like someone sending a message, or someone who knew exactly where she lived and didn't care about the trauma they were leaving behind. But here's the thing. There has been no official confirmation of this. No named suspect. No public arrest. Right now, this remains speculation, and it's important to keep it that way. Then there's the second theory, and it's just as unsettling. Reports claim the possibility that she may have taken something that didn't sit right with her system while out drinking. Maybe something was stronger than expected. Maybe something was mixed. And when she collapsed, the person or people around her panicked. Instead of calling for help, instead of risking questions from authorities, they may have chosen the unthinkable: to move her and leave her where she would be found. If that's what happened, it means fear outweighed humanity in a moment where seconds mattered. Because in situations like that, fast medical help can mean the difference between life and death. But again, this is not confirmed fact. It's one of the major possibilities people are discussing. Nothing more. Two paths. One suggests violence. The other suggests panic and abandonment. Both lead to the same heartbreaking ending. And both leave one question screaming louder than the rest. Who was with her when everything changed? Because whether it was rage or fear, someone made a choice that night. And that choice led straight to a mother finding her daughter on the porch at sunrise. But just when you think the story couldn't get more tangled, another name enters the picture. And it complicates everything even more. A name that started floating through the conversation: Jacob. It came from a comment left online. A message that felt personal, emotional, almost intimate. He spoke like someone who shared history with her, mentioning time apart, talking about conversations they'd had, even hinting at future plans. To outsiders, it raised immediate questions. If she was in a happy relationship like she recently suggested on one of her posts, where does Jacob fit in? Was he an ex who still had feelings? A close friend whose bond ran deeper than people realized? Or just someone grieving loudly in a public space? Right now, there are no official statements linking him to what happened, and it's important not to turn online words into accusations. But in cases like this, relationship dynamics matter. Emotions, jealousy, misunderstandings. Those things can create tension behind the scenes that never shows on the surface. What makes this detail so unsettling is timing. His message appeared around the same period she was talking about a new relationship and fresh starts. That overlap has fueled speculation, with some people wondering if there was emotional conflict in her life no one fully saw. Still, that's all it is, speculation. What's real is that this comment added another layer of mystery to a case already filled with unanswered questions. Because now it's not just about where she went after dinner or who she left with, it's about the people connected to her world, the ones who knew her personally, the ones who might hold pieces of the puzzle without even realizing it. And while the internet tries to connect dots, investigators are focused on something far more concrete, the place where her story didn't end, but where it was discovered. The place where she was found is something investigators can't ignore, because that porch wasn't where her life ended. It's what experts call a secondary scene. That means whatever happened to her, it happened somewhere else first. Someone had to move her. Someone had to make a decision. Get in a vehicle, drive through quiet streets before sunrise, and step onto a family's property knowing exactly what they were leaving behind. That choice is chilling no matter which theory you believe. It wasn't a random street corner or empty lot. It was her childhood home, the place her mother slept, the place her children felt safe. That level of familiarity suggests the person responsible knew her life, knew her family, knew where to go without hesitation. And then there's the technology factor. Her family had a doorbell camera. That small device could hold the moment everything changed. A face, a silhouette, headlights, a license plate, anything that turns a mystery into a name. Authorities have reportedly reviewed footage along with nearby security cameras and digital data. But as of now, nothing has been released publicly. That silence can mean a lot of things. It could mean investigators are building a case carefully. Or it could mean the evidence isn't as clear as everyone hopes. But one thing is certain. Whoever brought her there didn't just abandon a body. They crossed a line into a family's private world and left trauma that will echo for the rest of their lives. And as detectives work behind the scenes, the pressure outside is growing because the community isn't letting this story fade. And what people are saying next adds even more weight to this case. Now, the impact of Erica's death stretches far beyond unanswered questions or speculation. Her 3 children are grappling with a loss no child should face. Her oldest, Morgan, wrote a heartbreaking farewell online, words that reveal the depth of their grief. Confusion, sorrow, love, and an ache for the mother who should have been there to guide them through life's milestones. Imagine the mother who once watched over them, now only existing in memories and pictures, in words written in pain. Her parents, Audrey and Kenneth, are left facing the unimaginable, finding their own daughter lifeless on their doorstep, the very space that should have been filled with laughter, safety, and family warmth. That trauma is permanent. That violation of trust and sanctuary will linger forever. Detroit streets, familiar with loss and violence, are now holding space for a conversation many would rather avoid. What responsibility do we all have when someone is in danger? What happens when the lines between care, fear, and cowardice blur? Erica's story asks these questions loudly, piercing through ordinary Sunday mornings and turning them into moments of reflection. And as the city waits for answers, one truth remains clear. Someone knows what happened that night. Someone has the key to the moments between her last social media post and the sunrise when her mother found her. Whether it's a witness, a friend, or the person responsible, that truth cannot stay hidden forever. Erica Latricia Ridgell deserved safety. She deserved to come home that night. She deserved to watch her children grow. And she deserved to be remembered not just for the way she died, but for the life she lived, the love she gave, and the family she protected. Her story isn't just a headline. It's a call to awareness, a demand for justice, and a reminder that in tragedies like this, silence isn't just complicity. It's another kind of heartbreak. Finally, as we look at the broader impact of Erica Ridgell's story, it's impossible not to see the lessons that extend beyond one family, one city, one night. Her death highlights how fragile life can be when fear, secrecy, or violence interferes with responsibility. It reminds us that social media, while a window into daily life, can also leave clues, show connections, and sometimes expose hidden conflicts. Erica's posts, Jacob's cryptic comment, the unanswered questions about who she was with, they're not just digital breadcrumbs. They are the threads that might eventually lead to the truth. The community's response matters just as much as the investigation. Friends and neighbors sharing posts, discussing theories, and pressuring authorities help ensure her story does not fade into obscurity. Every time someone refuses to look away, every time someone asks the hard questions, it keeps the memory of Erica alive and maintains pressure on those who might know something. Her children, Morgan, William, and Cody, are growing up without their mother, and her family lives with a trauma that can never be undone. Yet, by keeping her story in the spotlight, by demanding answers, they are protecting her legacy and the hope that justice will one day arrive. To everyone watching, remember this. If you know something, even a small detail, your voice could bring justice for Erica. Share her story, stay aware, and check in on the people you love. Her story isn't just a cautionary tale. It's a call to action. Someone out there knows the truth, and sooner or later, it will come to light. Thank you for following Erica Ridgell's story here on the True Crime Shadow. We will continue to bring updates as they come. Stay safe, look out for your friends and family, and never forget that every life matters. Rest in peace, Erica. Justice is coming.